The No Fate channel, checking in. It is almost winter up here in New England, and it is time to winterize our lawnmower and our lawn tractor. I'm going to show you the two methods on how to winterize both and tell you which one I prefer. I am dedicated to helping you dads be great parents to your kids and still accomplish your own personal goals. If you're a dad, then most likely you're in charge of your lawn equipment, and there is nothing worse in the spring than trying to turn on your lawnmower or lawn tractor and just hearing that dreadful sound of nothing happening. The best thing you can do is properly winterize it in the late fall, and that will allow you to start it right up come the spring. So there are two methods, and we're going to dive right in. First and foremost, one of the main reasons that lawnmowers just don't happen to start in the spring after a long layoff is because that the ethanol in the gasoline today breaks down and it gums up your carburetor. And that buildup of ethanol in the carburetor basically plugs it up very much like a drain. No gas can get through and it just won't start. So one of the main things you can do to fix that is to simply put in, at the very end of the season, load this bad boy up with fresh gas and make sure that the gas has fuel stabilizer in it. All right, so you load it up to the top with fresh gas and the stabilizer, and then throughout the winter, every 3 or 4 weeks, you kind of come out to the garage or wherever you have it, you turn it on, you let it run for 3 or 4 minutes to cycle some of that gas through there, make sure that ethanol doesn't have a chance to break down and gum up that carburetor. The reason I don't like that method is because when faced with reality, dads, we just don't have the time, especially during those cold winter months, to come out and start up the lawnmower when in fact you have to be worried about shoveling out the snow rather than the lawn itself. And oftentimes, myself included, you forget to start this bad boy up and long enough goes by, and then you have the same problem where the ethanol broke down and it just gummed up the carburetor. So the method that I use, method number 2, and I actually happen to think it's probably the easiest and best method, is to run the lawnmower empty. So remove all the gas. Obviously the best and easiest way is to just run it dry, but if for some reason you have a full tank in here and you don't want to have to run this thing for a few hours to drain the gas, you can actually use something like this siphon that I have here and pull the gas out into a container like this. But ideally you just try to gauge where the gas is later in the season to make sure it's low enough that you can run it on empty. Now you leave this empty, run it on empty, and I would even go so far as to get a dirty rag and a screwdriver and try to basically put the rag in there with the screwdriver and pull out as much of that leftover gasoline residue in there as possible, getting that gas tank as empty as possible, as dry as possible. And then come the spring, after having left this thing sitting for the whole winter, you can then pour in fresh, clean gas, start it up, and you are good to go. Now your lawn tractor is similar to your lawnmower, but it does have an additional step, so it may be a different choice for you with regards to whether you leave your gas tank in the lawn tractor filled or empty. You can leave it filled with fresh, stabilized gas, come out during the winter and start it up, let it run for 5 to 10 minutes every 3 to 4 weeks, and hopefully prevent not only the ethanol from gumming up the carburetor, but also, and this is the additional step, making sure that the battery itself is charged. Again, this is something that I have done in the past where I have left it full and thought that I was going to come out to start the lawnmower up throughout the winter, and frankly, it just doesn't happen often enough, and it still ends up leaving the carburetor gummed up and the battery dead. So what I do in this case is that I do, again, drain the gasoline out of this. You can run it dry if you can. Obviously, it's got a bigger fuel tank. You might not want to run this dry for such a long period of time. One of the things you can do down here, I'll get a close-up shot, is you can actually take the fuel line and drain the fuel out from the actual fuel line itself, which is a little bit more convenient if in fact you've got a good amount of gas left in. If you do leave the gas tank empty, one of the things you have to do in order to make sure that your battery isn't dead come the spring and after a long cold winter is to make sure that you come out here and charge it. What you want to have to do then is get yourself a simple battery charger. This is a generic $20 Black & Decker, I think. You come out, you connect the chargers, you plug it in, and you leave it on for say 6 to 10 hours, and then you come out and take it off. You do that once a month or once every 3 weeks, and that will keep the charge alive enough in the battery so that come the spring, when you turn the key, you can get this thing started up right away. Obviously, a battery is going to have a lifespan. I found that these lawn tractor batteries last between 3 and 5 years, depending on how cold of a seasons you get up or where you live and where you store it. Ideally, with your lawnmower and your lawn tractor, you want to store your equipment inside, whether it's a garage or a shed, just to keep them away from the elements. I do know that in some cases, some people don't have that option. You're forced to store them outside. In that case, cover them with a tarp. That's going to help just, again, keep some of the elements off of them when possible. Hopefully you found this video informative. If you came this far in the video, do me a favor, give this video a like, hit that subscribe button, and let me know in the comments below which method you use for winterizing your lawn equipment. As usual, thanks for watching, and don't save anything for the trip back. I am dedicated to helping you dads be great parents to your children and still accomplish your own personal goals. I post tips and tricks to save you dads time, energy, and money. 3 things that are in short supply for every dad out there.